Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another podcast. This is the Deuce to Fathers podcast. I am your host, Jacob Ortega, back with another episode today in which I will be talking about and covering things in the technological side of our children. But first and foremost, I hope you're doing well. It's been a crazy couple of days. It's been, some time has passed. But, I'm just checking in on you guys. How are you doing? Dads, are we doing okay? We haven't lost our minds yet completely. We haven't thrown our lawnmower or anything crazy. I hope you guys are doing well moving into this season. It is officially October 3rd, and if you know, it's October 3rd. That's when she asked, and I told her it was October 3rd. No, that was it. It's a great legendary day. Yesterday was yesterday was Wednesday, and on Wednesdays we wear pink. So if you get both of those references, you know. So just had to get my Mean Girls bits out of there. But first and foremost, talk to you about my affiliations that I'm working with and promote. First one being Dad Gang. We got the original right there. And honestly, this one that I'm wearing right now is, when I saw it, I immediately fell in love with this hat, the olive and the black. And then I shortly had this shirt made later from it. Because I got the hat. But originally, so on the last episode, I said that I actually ordered a hat in the extra wide, and I had to give it to a buddy of mine. Well, it was actually this hat. I didn't realize at the time that EJ and them, I hadn't realized at the time that EJ and them over at Dad Gang had created the size fit. I know they had tried it on a couple of other ones. I didn't realize this was one of the ones that we're going to do it on as well. So when I ordered and everything, it got there and it said size 8. And I was like, what? I don't got that. So I ended up just giving it to my buddy because any publicity is good publicity, honestly. And he's a good dad. Again, big dude, always having trouble finding hats and stuff like that. I didn't even think about that. I was just like, you know what? He's a really big dude, and this hat might fit him and better. And he said it's one of the best hats that he owns now, because I gave it to him, and he hadn't thought really about having an extra wide fit hat. He just thought that, I just put on the last couple of buttons and we're cool. And so I was really disappointed because this hat sold out, and I wanted to get my hands on another one. Turns out EJ restocked and put him back out very quickly. And so I was able to finally get the normal, regular version of this hat, and I love it. And again, or we'll get into the shirt in a minute. But then, so these are some of the hats that I've been collecting throughout the year. My collection is slowly growing. I just ordered the 2 Alex Verdugo hats, the New York Yankee player who has collaborated with the Dad Gang. Thanks for letting me get through that. And EJ seems like he's been working on this one for a while, because over there at Dad Gang, because there are pictures of Alex Verdugo in his feed from like back in the day with the original horsepower hat, the blue one. And if you know that those would go back in the day. That's one of the Dad Gang sayings. If you know, you know. And he puts them on the side of all the hats, because if you're a father, and you all of our trials and tribulations are different, especially from where we come from, with or without a father, how we grew up. I know 2 different people who technically grew up without fathers and were kind of homeless most of their life. Actually, one person I know of. The second person I do know of. And man, that's just crazy, right? And so to like have your own kids be intimidated by like what you don't know, how you were brought up, not wanting to break generational curses and stuff like that, like, if you know, and sometimes having to lock that stuff down is hard, because like that's how you were treated. But then you have to sit there and remember, like, but I didn't like being treated like that. And so, Dad Gang, dads everywhere, like, it's just we kind of get a bad rep for things because of how harsh we can be, how immediate we can be, irrational we can be, and stuff like that. But we're a product of our environment, and that's not to give us excuses, but that's what I'm here for. We're trying to bridge that gap of excuses and come up with better solutions and reasons to be better fathers. Again, I don't really like my high school football coach that much, Eric Izar, but he did teach me a very valuable lesson. And all the boys that we grew up with, all my brothers that we played with, be better men, be better husbands, and be better fathers. But especially the ones from before us. Because we can be mad at them, we can talk down about them and all that stuff, but what are we doing any different if not changing one of those things to change men is to share our stories and share our beliefs and share our wisdom with each other, because we're always the ones that have to go do some of the hardest things, and they have to say like, hey, but you're a man, you gotta squeeze that shit up, and you can't talk about it. But let's change that demographic, let's change that culture. And EJ and what he's done with the Dad Gang brand, and maybe he didn't mean for it to go that deep, but to me it is, because before this hat even came out, I was thinking of ways to of how I wanted to curate this podcast in general. And as I brought it to fruition, I just started seeing dad things come out, Tactical Baby Gear come out. I'm not affiliated with them. I would love to be. If you guys at Tactical Baby Gear want to reach out, I would love to be affiliated with you guys. I love everything you guys are doing over there. It's great. It's hilarious. And then Dad Gang came out. And then, for instance, the Wonderfold, like, it's not a dad thing, but that things like that have popped up as I've wanted to bring these things to fruition to you guys. So I'm just glad that there is a brand that I really stand behind. I feel like it represents me. I didn't create it, but man, I feel like it was created for me, in a sense that like all dads out there kind of put this energy to bring these hats together and bring this brand together to change how we treat each other. Again, we got to change the way we eat, we got to change the way we live, and we got to change the way we treat each other. Like those are fundamentals of my life. RIP Tupac, but so if you're like me and you just sometimes you just want to throw on a hat, these are all the hats I wear. I have my reds at home. I have other colors, other variations of the blues I have at home as well. But shout out to the Steelers, doing as well as they're doing. Got the black and yellow, as my wife is a Steelers fan. I've grown up a diehard Cowboy fan. I've kind of winged off that ledge a little bit, and I'm just a fan of football in the NFL. But being from Dallas, I still do watch Dallas Cowboys football. I do still wear my jerseys. I'm not as supportive fan as I used to be. I'm not wasting my money on that when I can be wasting my money on my family and actually produce wins, not losses. You know what I mean? Not just giving losses, or not just taking losses either. And so, I support one of the men that helped raise me, because I grew up without a father. Very dear to me, Alberto Marioni, shout out to you, is a diehard Steelers fan. And so I've kind of always grown up with like liking the Steelers and knowing about them and just being around the game in that way because of him. And sure enough, I would marry a Steelers fan. So I am kind of I love the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're a good team. I do love them, and I've been watching them for years. And so was really excited to get this so that I can start buying Steelers gear to go with that. The way I see it is I'm not really like downing them. I have a favorite NFC team, the Dallas Cowboys, and I have a favorite AFC team, the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you got a problem with it, talk to me about it, but not here. We'll talk about it somewhere else. So if you want to get help, over the holiday season coming up or anything like that, you want to get your husband, your baby daddy, who's a great baby daddy, your boyfriend, brother, anybody or woman that plays the father role, anything like Dad Gang, you can't go wrong with it. It'll put a smile on their face, and they've probably seen it in some facet or form, in some type of social media form, and they would really enjoy it. You've probably seen Dak Prescott wearing the pink horsepower. You've probably seen Luka wearing the pink. You've probably seen Post Malone wearing the pink. And then again, as of more recently, Alex Verdugo dropped 2 hat collaboration with them, a navy blue hat with his logo on the side and bendiciones on the sign, meaning blessings. He's just so thankful and for all the blessings that he's have. And he is a Mexican American baseball player, and so he does play on the Mexico team. So the other hat that the collaboration dropped was a red and green hat, and it's just an amazing. They're both beautiful hats, and I got mine. So if you haven't gotten yours and you're a Yankee fan, hopefully by the time this drops, you can run to the website and use code JACOB, JACOB, all capital, 90781. Again, that's capital JACOB 90781 to get your hands on those 2 exclusive collaborations and get 15% off on those and support, their collaboration and their movement. As well, EJ and Dad Gang over there, they've been working on Orange and Black coming out for Halloween. And as my son's birthday is on Halloween, I cannot wait for that drop. If you have me on social media, you saw that I dropped it on the 1st as well with the other collaborations that he's doing. And he has also said to us in the back channel of Instagram that he is working on a holiday collection. Now, we haven't seen any of those. We don't know what any of that means. But there are holiday hats coming out. So ladies, be You know, go like, subscribe, follow Dad Gang on everything, and be aware of their posts, and just save my promo code again, capital JACOB 90781 to get 15% off. And as they come through, you know, slide them under your bed for Christmas, slide them under your bed for a birthday party, for a rainy day or something like that, Father's Day, things like that. And just I promise you they'll make good gifts. The second affiliation, I'm sorry that took so long, but I was really excited about that, as you can tell, is going to be the oh my god, the Smacking Sunflower Seeds. Sorry, I just got tongue tied there. Love them. I love everything about this brand as well. I love the flavor. I love the palate that it hits, all the notes that it hits. We have options. Never have I seen a cinnamon churro anywhere, and the flavor was a little bit different. It kind of had like a kettle corn kind of sweetness taste to it with cinnamon, but I loved it. I thought it was a great flavor. I love the black pepper. It's spicy, but like not in a spicy way, just like a flavorful way. Kind of makes your jaw salivate a little bit. Oh, I love it. And the barbecue is an amazing flavor, to be honest. But one of my favorite flavors that I'm rocking right now is the garlic parmesan. And yeah, I'm a dad. I'm wearing cargos, and there's always something in my cargos. But the garlic parmesan, I actually like to take the garlic parm, mix some of that black pepper in there, and have a garlic parm, spicy garlic parm. I love to do that. But again, you know, we got cargos on. They have recently dropped. This was a long-awaited, speaking of spicy, collaboration. But we have the Buffalo Ranch, and man, the flavor palette that this hits. As I am new to eating buffalo in like the last couple, like 5 years, I guess, like you could say I'm new to eating buffalo flavor in general. Man, the flavor this hits is amazing, and like with the ranch in it, the butteriness that it adds is just amazing. And they partnered with Nitro Junior Games on this one to bring these packs to kids. So I actually buy the sample packs for the household, and I buy these big packs for me. And because I'm a courier, I love that actually these have the zip on there, like I can close these and seal them up and put them in my pocket, not to worry about them ripping, unlike having to go out of my way to find the older brands of sunflower seeds that I would eat, to find the ones that had the zipper on it, to make sure, like, I don't have to find it. If I order this size, it's coming with a zipper, and I know I can take it in my pocket, I can throw it in my car, and I can go to work. But you know, the kids we live a half a mile from school, and so I buy these so that they can throw in their bags. They can take them. They can throw them in their bags, and on their walk home, they can snack on something until they get home to eat food or stuff like that. Soccer games, you know, Saturdays. It's the fall coming here soon. We're about to get chilly. I love just. I've always had to be one of those persons to have something in their mouth. Gum, mints, toothpicks, sticks from the lollipop. After I was done eating the lollipop, sunflower seeds, peanuts. If I'm not talking, I feel like that's productive for me to be doing with my mouth, instead of getting in trouble, as I did a lot growing up. I got in trouble a lot for talking a lot. So, because obviously I'm good at that. So I love to get these packs for like those occasions, and especially because they don't have them I don't think they had the Buffalo Ranch in the bigger size. I could have been mistaken, but I was looking for this pack anyways. Love it. I absolutely love it. I love it. And I love that, again, I can just take it anywhere and throw it in for an afternoon snack. The protein count is good. The sodium levels are great. It's low sodium. I feel like that's where you don't even realize, sunflower seeds eaters out there, that the amount of water that you want to consume when you're eating sunflower, because of the high sodium content. Low sodium content, so I can just eat these and then drink when I want, not because I'm forced to. Love the Buffalo Ranch so much. What a flavor. Check in on the Smacking Sunflower Seeds website. You get 10% off with promo code DTFPOD24, and that'll be all capital letters. The letters DTFPOD24 at checkout for 10% off to try these. And then, you know, they just, after much evaluation and many people asking, their ranch flavor is so phenomenal. It says delicious and bold on the back. And yes, while that is true, God, again, I don't think I could use this enough for this word. Maybe I'm overusing it too much to describe this, but the butteriness and the smoothness that this flavor palette hits, amazing. I love ranch. I love barbecue. Those are my all-time two favorites. But this garlic pepper is definitely growing on me. definitely become a mainstay in my car right now until I finish them. But I love their ranch again, and I got this in the sample pack. They call them the sample packs, but I just order them like every 2 months anyways for everybody at the house. So there's no crying or complaining about the flavors. They do have dill pickle. They have your classic sea salt. They have a plethora of flavors, no doubt. But man, they really hit all the notes on there. And every 2 weeks, every week on their website, if you go on their website, they do limited editions. They've done lemon pepper. They've done spicy lemon pepper. They did peanut butter and jelly. I thought I hit confirm order on that one. Man, I wanted that so bad. Apparently I didn't, so I didn't get any of those. But they do really cool collaborations on the side. They're doing pumpkin spice right now. They did red velvet a couple of weeks ago, red velvet cake or something like that. So it's a really cool collaboration. I love it. My kids love them. We'll sit there at the games and just pop them at baseball games, and my kids will just devour a whole bag. The bigs will devour a full bag between the two at a whole baseball game. So if that doesn't let you know that they're not good, I don't know what will. If kids are eating them, hey man, kid won't lie to you. They're brutally honest. So check those out, guys. I really stand by that brand, and I really like this. And again, I was wearing this and eating these before I became an affiliate, so I could really bring you my true and honest opinions. And man, those seeds have really taken me by storm. So thank you to the Smacking Sunflower Seeds for just being born, because I appreciate you. Thank you, bud. So today we're going to talk about a little bit about technology, because I know that's a very weird subject right now in the world, in the limelight that we're growing up in. But I mean, obviously technology can be good. It allows individuals to be able to do their own thing, right? I'm allowed as a nobody to just sit in the living room with a microphone and a camera and go to work and record, whether it be a podcast or stats or stock market, designing. So you can go to work with technology anywhere you want in the world. But also that means that things are a lot more prevalent, and a lot more prevalent to be a distraction, and a lot closer to the vest, because it's always there. Whether it be your phone, like my phone's gone off several times, whether it be the internet, TV in the background, war breaking out, like there's always something. But it's always nowadays it's technology driven. And so we're at this point where as parents we're really conflicted as what to do when talking about technology and our children, because we don't want to cross a boundary and give it to them too early. But then a lot of parents are like, but also I don't want to keep it from them, as it's, it's in part of every industry nowadays. So where's the fine line of that? And, long story short, it's your choice. Podcast over. Bye, guys. No, I'm just, no, I'm just kidding. I mean, yes, it is your choice. Excuse me, let me get a sip. But there's really no good time to give it to them. So let me speak on my life experiences on when and how we went about getting technology into our kids' hands, and how it's kind of evolved from there. So just to give you a little bit of just background and stuff, right? So first off, what do you think? Parents, do you think it's good or is it bad, like, to give kids technology? And let's say kids, I don't know, 6. Let's say 6, right? It's a good age, middle age. 6, ask for a cell phone. Good or bad? Ask for a tablet. What do you say? 6 years old asks for a Nintendo, a Lite. I don't know, right? So when is it appropriate? 6-year-old, mom, can I have a laptop? What's appropriate, right? So just to kind of give you a little bit of a base, as of 2021, 91% of children ages 3 to 18 have access to internet at home. That means that just like when people our age hear access or certain things like that, we think like mainstream internet, Netflix, right? But we're not thinking about cell phones. We're not thinking about, again, the Nintendos that my friends can get on Minecraft and go into other worlds and talk with their friends and have like a whole other kind of social interaction on Minecraft or stuff like that. Then we actually know what's going on back there. Apparently this was going around forums, and if you're a parent, you might not know this, but like somebody was playing or had a picture from Kim K's tape from back in the day with Ray J. Had like her face or her film going in one of the like deep Minecraft like side game things that you can get into, and it really wasn't known about, but until some people started talking about it, and sure enough, it was there. And then you had the incident that happened, like how dangerous is technology when you have that man, I don't, was it Momo? That weird thing that was going on the internet where it was like telling kids to hurt people, but like the parents were like putting on YouTube and letting them watch Blippi or Miss Rachel or what have you, and they had dubbed the video, and they edited it to where there were like pop-ups of things telling them to kill themselves, and like kids were like screaming and crying. Actually, a buddy of mine's son was having nightmares and was talking about killing himself, and he was like in the 4th grade at the time. It was a very traumatic situation, but because a lot of the times parents will put something on, click, and walk away, and they don't really know what the kids are watching. It's just a kid's channel. But what sets the precedent as a kid's channel, or like subliminal messages that were like where like it like flickers in and out kind of thing, like, and those kids start seeing that stuff, man, like it was crazy. And to know some kids that were going through that stuff was insane, right? And so it adds to the fact, is technology good? Is it bad? When is it appropriate? The most common devices for internet is going to be your TV and tablets these days, I guess. Your TV, and especially most TVs nowadays, also have a system hooked up to them, an Xbox, a PlayStation, Nintendo, in which you can access and I don't know if you can access the internet on the Nintendo like that, but I know you can access the internet on Xbox and a PlayStation like that. They just have web browsers, and so their kids so again, the TV is the way that they're accessing it through via attachment and other things like that, right? And so this stat says that as of 2021, 70% of the children 12 and over had cell phones. I think that was a lot, considering that we were in a pandemic and a lot of kids were home at that time. That's still a very high number, I think. But hey, to each their own, right? Kid asked for a phone and you got the money and you're in the echelons to be able to provide it. Hey, go ahead. I've personally observed that like 3 to 7 year olds are most commonly having tablets nowadays. I know mine did. And let's talk about that right quick. Why give them tablets? Why give your littles tablets, right? Look, at the end of the day, as a family of 6, you go out to Olive Garden, right? They don't necessarily have TVs. They're not like Chili's. They don't have TVs everywhere. And if they do, they're not showing things that are on kids. So your kids might be a little distracted from dinner, i.e. getting up, being loud, asking 1,000 questions. Not that that's bad, but like when we're trying to have adult conversation or talk about other things, you're like, would you just, I love you, but just shut up. Like, they want to, you end up giving them your phone anyways, because Mom, can I watch this? Mom, can I do that? Can I play this? Can I play that? Oh, fine. Take my phone. And so you give it to them anyways. I don't know how many parents I know you look at their phone and you're like, what happened? And you're like, my kid broke it. Well, why'd your kid have it? They're doing something and they got up and dropped it. Like, okay. But nowadays they make tablets for young kids that have like bumpers on them and they're like foam. And my son has one that has like a handle on it. It's really cool. But so back to the restaurant point is like, why do I want to be the parent giving them the device? Well, one of two things are going to happen at a restaurant. You're either going to be looked at because your kids are crazy and obnoxious and being loud, which is obnoxious, right? Or two, they're going to be looked at for watching a device while dinner comes to the table, but they're quiet, they're well behaved, they're entertained. Maybe they are playing an educational game. Maybe they're watching an educational movie. Maybe they're doing homework. Nowadays, a lot of my kids do work on laptops, and they connect their devices to the laptop for school so that they can do them whenever they want and kind of get it out of the way on the weekends and stuff like that too. So what if they're doing homework, right? Like what if the older ones are being productive and stuff like that? Like you're going to get looked at regardless. People are going to look at you regardless as to what you want to be looked at for. I'd rather be looked at for the calm table with our kids are what? Okay, you mind your business. Than them climbing over the chairs, being very boisterous and rambunctious and obnoxious, like just everywhere. Like if I have really good kids, and I know a lot of my friends, and I don't know people with bad kids. Like I don't, but we all know that they can be bad sometimes when there's just too much going on for us to handle as well. I got kids talking over here, wife over here, trying to get the waiter's attention. I'd like to peek up at the game. Maybe I have to take somebody to the restroom and stuff like that. You just like all the other little things you want to be able to have a little bit more control over. And I feel like the tablet in those situations, whether they're watching something or playing something, isn't so bad. There's not something so bad at it. The bigs have their own phones now. That came to, if you listen to the last podcast, I talk shit about Williams Preparatory because they suck. Keep your kids away from there. There was an incident about 2 years ago in which a little boy threatened to bring a firearm to school. Maybe it was a little bit longer than that, 'cause I just know it was after COVID. But I'm not sure how long. A little boy threatened to bring a firearm to school, and there was just at the time there was that other shooting, the other big school shooting in which I can't remember right now. Something with a V. I just can't. I'm sorry. I don't mean to insult anybody. I just don't remember where it was at. I just know it was here in Texas as well. Then we had the incident. My wife's from El Paso. A few years ago, we had the incident where the Walmart was shot up. There's just, and then in general in Dallas right now, there's just a lot of chaos going on. Kids are, and not just kids, families are moving here in influx and just waves of people. So there are a bunch of new kids that are coming in. Maybe they're threatened. They feel a certain way. Maybe they act a certain way from where they come from because of the environment there. And so they bring some of those bad habits here and it rubs off on the kids. Same thing with the parents, though. I'm not just talking about the kids. Something with the parents, though, as we see on the roads. But it bottom line to why do we, like me and the wife sitting down for a while and like, why do we need to give them phones? And at the end of the day, it came down to I'd rather them have a device on them so that they can call me to tell me that shit's about to go down or is going down and that they're hiding and that they've ran out of the school, something. I'd rather be able to have contact with them because when those situations are going down, the police and everybody involved at the time and we think that it's bad, but like they don't have time to answer those questions. They're trying to subdue the suspect. They're trying to clear a crime scene. They're trying to tape off a school building or a mall, trying to get security on it because there's a lot of moving parts going on. There's just a lot that we don't realize as civilians that are going on that behind the scenes. So if they call me and say, hey, I never want to get this call, but like, hey, I'm in a locker right now. There's a school shooting right now. I'm turning off my phone. I'm in a locker. I love you. I'm going to freak the fuck out. I'm going to lose my shit and be in the car on the way with my guns to go kick in a fucking door. Sorry. But the reality is, like, how would I know that unless it's not splattered on the news or it's not talked about, or like this chemical fire in Georgia, I think it's in Atlanta, that's going on that like just blew up and 90,000 people are set to be at home. And like, how did I find that out? It wasn't the news. I found it out through like them talking about it online, different posts and stuff like that, but through word of mouth essentially because the news wasn't covering it yet. And I found out about that like 2 or 3 days ago. Apparently it had happened. Or happened on the 1st, I think, or Monday the 30th, something like that. But to the point, like, if I can contact the person and get a hold of them and get the story straight so I know what's going on or what I can do or what to avoid, it came down to I want to be able to get a hold of my daughters. Fact of the matter. Now, there is a plethora of other stuff that goes on with giving them phones. Blocks, limits, screen time, all those things, and we'll talk about that, but at the end of the day, it really bottomed down to if my kids were in an emergency, I need them to be able to contact me because they were farther away from school. They were off a busy street. Something did happen. That boy did bring a gun to school, and it turns out his father is a Dallas police officer. So that in itself was a whole thing, but kind of got swept under the rug on all ends because nobody wanted to talk about it. I don't think it was on the news. We knew about the story from school before the school wrote a letter to us. 2 days had gone by before they reached out to talk to us. Our kids had told us what happened before that. And so another reason why Williams is trash, they say it was because of an investigation. They had to get all the facts out. Yo, if there's somebody at school, with a gun, there is no investigation. I need to know. Sorry, my phone is going off or something. I don't know, just itch. But there, that doesn't warrant an investigation at that time. It warrants a letter home this afternoon. Come get your kid, XYZ. I get the investigation. Don't get me wrong. But for them to be like, oh, no, dude, I need to know when something happens, because are my kids okay? Obviously they were, but they were in danger. They were in harm's way for a moment. And to that point, they're at their new schools. We talked about in the last episode. We did have an incident about 2 or 3 weeks ago now where there was talk going around that a kid at school was gonna, at the new school, was gonna like shoot it up. And nobody knows if it was real. Nobody knows if it was fake, how the rumor got started or what have you. But they were talking about it at lunch, that it was something bad was going to happen and this and that. And so my daughter and some of her friends, my 6th grade daughter and some of her friends were huddled at lunch and talking about what they were going to do. And my daughter was like, hey, I live the closest. If anything goes down, follow me and we're going to run straight to my house. My dad will take care of us. Obviously, you know who I am. Not that I'm an expert or anything like that, but I can handle my own, and I will definitely take care of my kids. But ask somebody about it. Little lurker over there, you better ask her husband about it. But it was a really traumatic thing to get a text message about that, and one of her friends was literally texting her mom like, hey, just in case I don't hear from you again, like, I love you. Like, what the hell? But because kids are being wild right now, it's not just happening at this school, it's happening everywhere. Sure enough, thankful that they had the technology. She had the cell phone. She was able to call us. Wife went and got both of the daughters out, and we have a nephew that goes there as well, one of my little cousins. And we got all 3 of them out. And sure enough, as she pulls up to get to the school, we only live a quarter mile from the school. She pulls up to the school, and there's a line of moms out the door already. And then people are like, what's going on? The administrators are like, why are y'all taking y'all's kids out? Like, what's going on? And then some of the students and some of the moms did get pulled into the back to talk about it. But yeah, unfortunately, like that is happening everywhere right now. And so it paid off, and like, it's very worrisome, but I'm glad she had the phone and was able to call me, because she felt very uneasy and very endangered at the time. And so, you know what? Your education's at liberty right now. Your life is at liberty right now, or is at risk. I'm sorry, not liberty, is at risk right now. Like, we're coming for you, and we stand by that. And so that, again, technology has its ups and downs. I don't know where I feel about it, but I feel a lot better knowing that my daughters were at home and my nephew was at home than potentially in a weird situation, And so so again, it's like, so what's really the problem with our kids having devices? Is it the videos they could see, whether they be a terrorist shooting, what was that? Killing 6, shooting 18 in Israel on the train station platform, in which a mother lost her life, protecting her son, her newborn son. Maybe we don't want them seeing videos of that. Okay, maybe we don't want them seeing videos of invasions of, I don't know, the U.S. invading Iraq and Afghanistan in 2002, as those videos are resurfacing. 9/11 just passed and stuff like that. Or what about the videos of rockets just being rained down on in other countries and stuff like that? Maybe that we don't want them to see like drive-by shootings, or the sex appeal of certain celebrities in which they try to degrade them, the sex appeal that they try to put on children, unfortunately, in the industry, as we are now finding out, that is being very heavily brought to light, the over-sexualization of children in every way of the form, and then it rubbing off on your children and thinking they have to sexualize themselves. Oh, all of that sounds weird in itself to say out of my mouth, but or let's be honest about it. Are you just straight up concerned of your kids watching scary movies or straight up porn, right? Because that was a thing that was going on at Williams, for instance. There was a group of kids that were just sitting at breakfast, mind you, breakfast table, sitting there like 6 to 8 deep, just watching porn on their phones while there were administrators that were walking around. But obviously they weren't, if every day this was going on. And I know about this firsthand because of my daughter that was, like going through her own little rebel phase at the time and didn't know what was up and what was down. And she checked in on that stuff. And sure enough, it was on her phone. And sure enough, we had to start limiting things because we gave it to her full throttle, 100% open. And that was our own naiveness to think that she wasn't going to find that stuff, or wasn't going to be brought to her attention, where she then later Googled things. And then you think like, well, maybe she's on YouTube. That's not as bad. Better check again. There are videos hidden on videos, and like they'll make a video with a video underneath it, and then you'll get glitches of things. She was honestly, they were just Googling and YouTubing just like sexual things that nowadays that weren't on YouTube when we were kids. But like, I mean, sheer see-through things. You might as well be naked, but you had on a linen shirt that I can see everything, so it's okay. Like, man, it's gotten crazy out here. So I can understand the flaws and the negatives of what the cell phones and the technology brings, but at the end of the day, it did help me. It has helped me be in track of, not that I spy on. I'm not one of those parents to like look on or anything like that, but just to set a better foundation on their monitoring and stuff like that, instead of being so open, because they're just so susceptible to things. You see something and you don't even know if it's cool or not, but you're interested in what's going on, and so you Google it and what have you. And that in itself is so bad. It's so crazy. But it is what it is. And unfortunately, technology, we thought we grew up with technology because mom had a Windows 98 on the desk in the back room. But like, dude, these kids are growing up with technology. I know a lot of toddlers and infants that can unlock iPhones. Like they somehow unlock your phones with fingerprints, face recognition, all that stuff. They will still somehow unlock your iPhones. They will take pictures and make calls on devices and stuff like that. So, I mean, they're really growing up with technology. We're like first gen. They're second generation and third generation, like technologically advanced beings. It's crazy, but it's also made them a little bit more reliant to do certain things, but that'll be for another thing in general. But I guess technology in itself has made everybody a little bit more reliant on it than used to doing the things the manual way. And so, so how bad is technology? I don't know. And when is it appropriate to give to them? That's on the parents' discretion. I just know that just don't overthink it. And don't over analyze after giving. Maybe did we do this? But I will tell you at the beginning, go ahead and set up your blocks. Go ahead and set up your parameters. Go ahead and set up a reward system to maybe earn extra time. Maybe to earn later time in the weekends or something like that. Give opportunity, but also go ahead and give that device when you do give it to them with all the parental blocks set up. So from the get-go, from scratch, the expectations are set, and you're not setting them up to fail, because I feel in a sense we set up my daughter to kind of fail by not going further into depth about certain dangers that lurk in the world and your surroundings, especially too. When somebody else finds out you have a phone, like, hey, look this up. Hey, check this out, because they don't have a phone yet, but somebody showed them, and then you're in a deep rabbit hole of stuff, and it just kind of goes. Cool. Gotta start wrapping this up here in a few. But then like giving them devices, whether we like it or not, at some point in your child's academic career soon, they will be given devices. As of 2020, 70% of public and 73% of private schools made the move to go online. Now, we could say that was forced, like everything was advanced fast because of COVID. But I remember before that, my brother-in-law, he was in middle school at the time, like before COVID happened, and he was a part of like the first guinea pigs to get like tablets and then laptops that became the Chromebooks later, that most kids, at least in the Carrollton Farmers Branch District, have Chromebooks for them to go home with. And Chromebooks have become like a mainstay of education moving forward. I have from the San Francisco National Center for Education that 98% of schools use computers right now in general, whether it be for educating or self-learning or announcements or any variation of the form, right? And that 75% use iPads and or Chromebooks. So your kids, while you're thinking that you're like, oh, I'm keeping them away from technology and I'm keeping them safe and what have you, like, yes, as much as you possibly can, but what you're not realizing is like they've already been surrounded by technology and or are using it at school at the very least. Some kids can't take the Chromebooks home. Some schools have it set up to where they can't take them home. And I get that because it's like we tried that already and this kid lost it. This kid's on a second one. This kid puts his boogers all over and it's sticky from him eating peanut butter and jellies all over it. Like, so some kids leave theirs there, and so you don't know that they've been using laptops all day for a year. My girls are allowed to bring theirs home. My youngest daughter doesn't have a device necessarily, but they have in schools the smart whiteboards. I don't know if a lot of kids remember those. Were kind of experimental. You had to calibrate it, touch the 3 dots on each line, and a projector pops up, and it was an interactive projector, kind of like the ones at Chuck E. Cheese where you step on and the fish move and stuff like that. It's an interactive projector. They're a mainstay in all classrooms now, and at least my daughter's school. So that is their form of like technology. And I saw a little boy go up there and turn some things off, and he turned some things off and tried to calibrate the because they know how to do those things. They might not even realize they know how to do those things. Teachers like, hey, can you go do that? And then something happens and they're like, oh, let me just restart it, kind of reset it. So where's technology bad? Where is it good? I'm like 50-50 on it. You know, they're going to kill us one day regardless. The robots are going to kill us one day regardless. But as of right now, it's very useful tools, and just don't be intimidated by it. Don't be scared by what is happening because the world is changing for them, not for us. And they're adapting to it better than we are because they're in it right now and they're coherent and they're actively getting better at using it. So, you know, we're just a different breed these days. And so to add to that, you know, about 75% students are using digital learning tools daily, with 50% of classroom time engaging done on laptops or some kind of technology, computer kind of thing. So 50% of students are using digital learning, and about 50% of them are using it half of the day. That's a lot. And then they go home and you wonder why they know how to do all the things they know how to do. Now let's circle back to the being safe, because I have some pros and cons for you about some things, some applications and stuff like that, and some just technology things that have kind of helped us out growing up with our family. And so now that our daughters have cell phones, they're walking home. The wife wants to keep better track on them, and we're able to keep better track on them. We use Life 360 now. Now, I know a lot of you guys out there have seen the commercials or this and that. I will tell you that Life 360 is pretty nice. It keeps track, obviously, of everybody that's in your bubble. But what's cool about it is as you get older, like right now that our daughters have Life 360 for walking, but we'll get a notification. It's like, so-and-so was going 60 miles an hour today. Like, how are you going that fast? Oh, I was in the car with mom. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It knows that you're 12 years old and knows that, like, whatever. And so it just alerts you that they're leaving. They're at home. They're leaving home. They're at home. They're walking home. Like all those little, how fast you're going and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. But as you get older, it unlocks a new feature. When you're 16, it'll unlock a certain safety feature so that in case your kid starts driving, and all those things happen, in the unfortunate event that they are in a car accident, it'll feel the impact and it'll send you a text message and call and alert authorities so that every party in the group knows what's going on. Secondly, as they get even older than that, you know, my 2 oldest girls are best friends, and their friends, they have a lot of friends that are like them, like older sister, younger sister, older sister, younger sister. And so if we take that to the future, what if all the girls go out, but then like this group goes this way, this group goes that way? You can add each other to groups and create your own group on the premium version anyways, so that as you grow up in life, you have like your family group of friends, you know where they're all at. You have your friends, regular friends, you know where they're at. You have like your business partners. You have like all these things, your husband, your direct family, your old like the family you grew up with, your original family. You can join those groups so that you feel safe and that at all times, you know, somebody's looking out for you, and you can send, in the case of an emergency, you can hit the SOS button, and depending on what group you're in, it'll send out a mass message to let everybody know that you're not safe and here's your last known location, and it'll go from there. So I think that's pretty cool. However, the premium version, you'd have to pay for it. But again, it has great benefits. Now, if you want something free and you're not like me to where you're not a spread out family, again, for those of you that don't know, My oldest child is with a different mom. We co-parent the trio of us pretty well, and the moms have gotten together and figured out how to Life 360 that, because what we were using before was Family Link. And what's cool about Family Link is it was free. It came with Microsoft, and it supported all of our devices because we don't have iPhones. And so it's not that like all of them don't support iPhones, but there are certain applications and programs that work better with certain technological things. We tried Family Link, but we weren't able to integrate two families. You'd have to leave it all together, and then like have it's weird. So, but you weren't able to stack like which group you wanted to be in. Like you only had one group in. Now we never bought the premium version to know if that was more detail and more depth to that. But no, I'm in the business of saving money, guys, not in the business of wasting money. So we didn't really get to try that out. But then another good thing that I like about cell phones and having technology is that we have on all of our devices called Family Wall, and it's essentially just a calendar for the family wall, right? Because where does the calendar go normally? In the kitchen on the wall for the family to see. I know I didn't have to explain it, but and so it's a digital mobile calendar that everybody in the family can input their activities and dates and times and stuff like that. You can even geotag the location and drop and put a picture in to be like, hey, this is where you need to go park, or the door you need to come into. Like you can add all of that in the notes right there. But also you can interact groups over each other. So like in our household, for instance, there are 8 people. It's R6, the Ortega 6, and the Martinez 2. We have 2. They have their calendar. We have our calendar. That's mother-in-law and brother-in-law. They have their own calendar. We have our calendar, but we are able to see which events cross over and stuff like that, which helps me a lot because as a courier, sometimes I pick up random jobs, random times, and sometimes time just gets away from me. But I can go to my calendar at the very least while I'm there and not ask my wife, because I have the information in my hand to know when and where I can pick up a shift and what's okay. Without getting in trouble for missing events, because that's, if you're like me, you don't like to miss the events, and so I try to plan around all of the events to make sure that I can be there. And so I really like that it allows me to do that. And when somebody adds a new event or something, it alerts everybody in the group just to let you know, hey, an event has been added, check it out. And it really works. Like I feel that I'm more involved in knowing what's going on day to day without having to ask the wife, because sometimes the wife just get tired of answering the same question, especially like me. I tend to ask the same question 3 or 4 times if I've forgotten that I asked you, and so I know how much of a relief that it is to get that information and have it. So guys, check that out too, because I love Family Wall and how it's able to unite us, because we all know what's going on. And you can always share that calendar with like our family that lives in Houston. We can share it to them or share it to the family in El Paso, so they just have a view of events that are going on. And I think that's really cool. But yeah, that's kind of what I have on technology today. If you guys have any other questions or thoughts about this, or anything you'd like me to bring to light, or please inbox me on Instagram, or on either one of my Instagrams, my podcast Instagram, or my regular one if you have me on there. Let me just double check real quick. Yes, my podcast Instagram is Dudes to Fathers, and it'll have my name, Jacob Ortega, on there. Or you can find my old Instagram, Jacob Ortega, and it'll bring you right to me so that you can message me, and we can talk about some more of these things and stuff like that. Dudes to Fathers Pod on Instagram. Check that out. Thank you. And again, and I did want to talk about the shirt, so I forgot to talk about it. So this is one of the shirts that I will be putting up on our website to sell that my wife made me. If you can't see it that well, it says, it's not a dad bod with Bandit Healer laying across. If you know, you know. Love Bandit. It's a father figure, and so it's just a funny joke. It's really great. If you're like me and you don't know what a dad is, that's what a father figure looks like. It's hilarious. Now, to start the tradition of ending with a story. Now, I am in a family friend's house. They let me use their house and their back house to record these podcasts, and they have 5 sons. The 2 youngest boys are a set of twins, and so kids being kids and kids being just observant. I didn't want my son to walk in and be like, hey, how come that guy changed? Hey, how come that guy's legs hurt? Didn't I just see him? Like, 'cause, like one of the twins had he was limping around because he had surgery on his ACL. The other twin, like they're both just really tall young men, and I didn't want my son to just be completely freaked out by seeing one walk by and then another one walk by completely different. And like, how did that just happen? So on the way to the event that we were having, they were having dinner for us, or they were having dinner and they invited us. Let me better specify. And as we were getting here, I told my son, I was like, hey man, I just want to let you know there are twins here. And he was like, what are those? And I was like, I'm glad you asked. It's what mom has on her. Never mind. It's two people that look alike. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, they look like the same person. And so you might see one walk off and come down the hallway and be different. I was like, they are two different people. And he was like, what? Two people that look the same? Like, what the hell? I could just see my son's head going like, Dad, you're crazy, dude. What are you talking about? so like the event's going on, and I didn't necessarily I didn't hear what really happened. My wife related to me, and man, it was the funniest shit I ever heard. Like, I was drinking, I was outside with the dad and some other males that were here, some other guys that were here, and we were just outside drinking, and the ladies were inside and stuff like that was going on. And my son's in the living room playing with some cars, and one of the boys comes out. I can't remember which one it was. It doesn't matter. They're identical, right? But if you know them, you can tell them apart. We can tell them apart, or at least I can tell them apart. I've grown up with enough twins. I can tell them apart. My wife can't fully tell them apart. But so my wife said, like, oh, hey, look, that's the twins. And it was only one. My son walks up and goes, hey, are you one of those guys? He was like, what? And he was like, yeah, those guys. Are you one of them? Like, you one of those guys? It had been stuck on his head how I told it to him. They're one of two. They're twins. They're tall guys. And he was like, Mom. He like looked and said, Mom, this dude's crazy. You don't understand me. He's like, well, okay, he doesn't understand you. And she looked at him and was like, no, Jacob was just telling him about how you're a twin and he didn't want to freak him out. And he was like, oh, yeah, I am one of those guys. And he like high-fived him and walked on. And my son was like, cool, you're one of those guys. And then he saw the other one, was like, Mom, look, it's the other one of those guys, man. But it's just one of those things that like kids are so innocent and how they think of things that it's just so beautiful. And I love it. Kids, right? Father figure. I tried to just educate him real quick, and it turned into a whole thing. But yeah, kids can be witty, and be careful how you tell them things because they will literally take it as such. So again, fly over to Dad Gang if they haven't sold out. Check those out. Promo code Jacob, all capital, 90781 at checkout for 15% off. Then you have Smackin' Sunflower Seeds, code DTFPOD, all capital, numbers 24. At checkout for 10% off, guys. It was so nice to get another episode under and another one, get back into the routine of things. Man, I've missed you guys, and please reach out in any form that you have of me. Let me know how it's going, and see you soon. Guys, remember, stay safe, drink your water, keep your head on a swivel. Love you guys.